Level 1. The trainee. You're 23. You have a law degree you haven't fully used and 4 years of work experience the application required. The FBI does not take people fresh from anything. It takes people who have already proven something somewhere else. You proved yours in a prosecutor's office in Cincinnati, where you spent 2 years watching cases built and dismantled and understanding, gradually, that the difference between conviction and acquittal often lived in a detail someone didn't write down correctly. Quantico, Virginia. The FBI Academy sits inside Marine Corps Base. 21 weeks. You run, you qualify on the range. You study law, behavioral science, forensic accounting, surveillance technique, interviewing methodology. Your class has 52 new agents. They are lawyers, accountants, veterans, former police officers. The only thing uniformly true about them is that they are not easily impressed. Your primary instructor is a supervisory agent named Kellerman who spent 14 years in counterintelligence before coming to teach. He has a habit of presenting scenarios with no clean answer and waiting while the room argues itself into a corner. Then he asks a single question that collapses the argument. You start writing those questions down. You fill half a notebook before graduation. At the end of 21 weeks, you raise your right hand. You are handed a credential and a weapon. Both are heavier than expected. Level 2. The new agent. You're 25. Your first field office is Detroit. Violent Crime Squad. Your squad supervisor, a supervisory special agent named Okfour, gives you your first case file on your second day. A wire fraud complaint. Unremarkable. He tells you to read the whole file before you form an opinion. You read it twice. Your opinion changes between the first read and the second. Okfour sees you reading it a second time and says nothing. That is approval in its earliest form. Your first interview is a witness, not a subject. A woman who saw something she isn't sure she saw and isn't sure she wants to describe. You sit across from her in her kitchen and you ask questions slowly, and you do not rush the silence after each answer. She talks for 40 minutes. By the end, you have 3 details that weren't in the original complaint. Okfour reads your 302, the interview report form, and makes 2 corrections. Grammar, not substance. He initials it and hands it back. That is also approval. Level 3. The field agent. You're 28, 3 years in Detroit. You've worked fraud, public corruption, 1 counterterrorism referral that consumed 8 months and ended in a prosecution you weren't fully briefed on. You've written enough 302s that the format has become invisible. You think in it now. You are transferred to Chicago. Organized crime. The work is longer and slower and requires a kind of patience that your fraud cases didn't ask for. An investigation runs for 2 years before anyone is arrested. You are building a structure. Brick by brick, in the dark, without knowing what the finished shape looks like until enough bricks are in place that it reveals itself. Your partner is a senior agent named Vasquez, who has been working the same organized crime family for 6 years. She speaks in half sentences on the phone because she has learned to say the operative thing and nothing adjacent to it. You learn to do the same. Level 4, the senior agent. You're 32. You have worked 4 field offices. You have testified in federal court 11 times. You understand the difference between a case that holds and a case that looks like it holds, and that difference lives almost entirely in documentation discipline. A new agent on your squad named Pritchard is fast and instinctive, and writes sloppy 302s. You pull him aside once. You tell him that instinct finds the lead, and documentation survives the defense attorney. He rewrites the 302. It takes him an hour longer. The case holds. He doesn't thank you. That's not the point. Level 5. The supervisor. You're 36. Supervisory special agent. You no longer work cases the way you did. You supervise the agents who do. 12 agents. A violent crime squad in the Baltimore field office. Your job is to make their cases hold, their judgment sharpen, and their paperwork survive a federal judge. You attend weekly briefings with the special agent in charge, and you translate what he says into what your squad needs to hear, and you translate what your squad is seeing into what he needs to know. You are the wire between 2 languages. A case comes in involving a series of armed bank robberies across 3 states. Your squad runs the investigation for 5 months. 2 subjects are indicted. 1 is acquitted on a suppression issue your team created by moving too fast on a search warrant. You take that to your squad in a debrief without assigning blame. You walk through the timeline. You show exactly where the decision was made and what the correct decision would have been. Nobody argues. That is the right response. The lesson lands cleaner when it isn't wrapped in accountability theater. Level 6. The Assistant Special Agent in Charge. You're 40. You oversee 3 squads: counterterrorism, public corruption, cyber. You are no longer close enough to the cases to feel them the way you used to. You feel them through reports and briefings and the faces of supervisors who come into your office with problems they've already partially solved. Your job is to finish the solving and absorb the weight so it doesn't reach down into the squads and slow the work. A counterterrorism lead requires you to authorize surveillance that a federal judge must approve. The application takes 4 days to prepare correctly. You review it 3 times before it goes forward. The judge approves it. The operation runs. You are not in the room when it concludes. You are in a conference call. That is what this level feels like. Present by wire. Accountable for everything you cannot see. Level 7. The Special Agent in Charge. You're 44. You run the field office. 400 personnel. Every investigation, every personnel action, every press inquiry, every relationship with local law enforcement, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Mayor's Office. A high-profile public corruption investigation becomes a high-profile public corruption. Prosecution becomes a high-profile acquittal. A reporter calls. You give a statement that says what is accurate and nothing else. Your supervisor at headquarters calls afterward and says the statement was too plain. You tell him it was accurate. He says accurate and plain are not always the same thing politically. You tell him you'll keep that in mind. You say it in a way that means you have heard him. He knows what it means. The conversation ends. Level 8. The Assistant Director. You're 48. Washington now. Headquarters. You oversee the Criminal Investigative Division. Thousands of agents across dozens of field offices working thousands of cases you will never read individually. You set policy. You approve resource allocation. You sit in rooms with people from other agencies who are protecting equities you understand and equities you are learning to understand. The work has become almost entirely institutional. You are building conditions. You stopped working cases at 44. You are now the condition under which cases are worked. That distance took years to stop feeling like loss. Level 9. The Deputy Director. You're 52. Second in command of the entire bureau. 35,000 employees. A budget larger than the GDP of several countries. You brief the Attorney General on Tuesday mornings. You brief the National Security Council when the cases require it. A whistleblower complaint arrives through proper channels alleging procedural misconduct in a field office. You read it the same day it arrives. You assign an inspection division team that afternoon. The investigation takes 6 weeks. 3 agents are disciplined. 1 supervisor is removed from supervisory duties. You write the summary yourself. Plain language. Specific findings. No passive constructions designed to distribute accountability into vapor. The report is released internally. Agents across the bureau read it. That matters more than most of what you say in any briefing. Level 10. The end of the line. You're 55. The retirement ceremony is held in the Hoover Building atrium. There are speeches. A credential is formally retired. Someone reads the case count, the convictions, the years of service. None of it captures the thing you actually did, which was spend 32 years in rooms with people on the worst days of their lives, or the best days of their criminal careers. And write down exactly what was there, not what you hoped was there, what was. Kellerman, your Quantico instructor, sends a card. He retired 9 years ago. The card has 4 sentences. The last one says, "You wrote things down correctly. That's rarer than it sounds." You keep the card. You drive home through the Capitol in late afternoon light. You think about Pritchard rewriting his 302. Vasquez's half-sentences. The witness in the kitchen in Detroit who talked for 40 minutes because you didn't rush the silence. The work was never about the arrests. It was about what you wrote down afterward, and whether it held. 32 years. It held.
If you stayed until level 10, you already know what held and what didn't. Subscribe, the next one starts at level 1, somewhere else entirely.